Into the kitchen, yeah. And then you spin it around that way.